63,000. 63,000. More than 63,000 people die a year from alcohol and drug abuse or addiction. What is addiction? According to the National Institute of Drug Abuse, addiction is defined as a chronic relapsing disorder characterized by compulsive drug seeking, continued use despite the harmful consequences, and long-lasting changes to the brain. Today, here, I would like to inform you on some of the issues associated with drug abuse and addiction. According to the National Institute on Drug Abuse, addiction is the most severe form of substance use disorders. The most severe. It's pretty high. It affects a lot of people. It is considered both a complex brain disorder and a mental health disease. According to the Chattanooga Recovery Center, likes to point out to us that addiction can affect anyone, no matter your race, age, your wealth, what side of town you stay on, what state you live in, how big your house is. It can affect anyone. And a lot of people like to think it's a matter of self-control. If no one had to deal with the addiction or know anybody that has dealt with addiction, they would like to say, it's a mind thing. I'm here to tell you it's not just a mind thing. No one wants to be an addict. No one wakes up one day and says, hey, I think I'll be an addict. When a child in grade school is asked what they want to be when they grow up, they don't raise their hand and say, I think I'll be an alcoholic or I think I'll be a drug addict today. That's my profession, what I want to be. It's a disease. It's hurtful. It's harmful. An addict can anytime suffer an overdose. Back up a little bit. Some of the signs along with drug addiction and abuse are changes in the appetite. You start to eat less. You may notice, people start to lose a lot of weight. Losing weight is a big sign. Sleep disturbance. Up for days, sleep for days. Heart issues. They could start having a lot of heart attacks, high blood pressure, heart disease, psychosis. Who's that peeping in my window? Thinking people are after them, that they can't even leave the house because the feds are watching. Overdose. Let me get back to that one. Jail and/or death. These last three, overdose, jail, and death, one of those three is likely to happen in your course of addiction. If you become an addict, you're looking to definitely seek one of those three courses. Any addict can suffer an overdose at any given time. Some of the signs to look out for if you know somebody or you suspect somebody that uses. Some of the signs to look out for an overdose are vomiting, pale, clammy face, change in pulse, whether you notice they're starting to breathe heavier all of a sudden or start moving fast, shallow breathing. Once breathing fast, now they're barely breathing at all. Loss of consciousness. Paranoia, again, it's the same as psychosis. So paranoia, people are watching me. Stomach pain and seizures. I like to point out the fact that just because somebody has stomach pain and seizures does not mean they're an addict. But if you suspect them of using, or if you know for a fact that they do use, and you notice any of these symptoms, please seek help immediately. Some of the other issues that are associated with the drug addiction, of course, are your financial and your relationships. According to the American Addiction Center, the cost of treating, housing, and so forth costs the nation more than $740 billion a year. That is to treat people with the disease, or to house people in jails that committed the crimes to feed the addiction. And not only that, it can put a dent inside your wallet. But you're going to start missing days of work if you have a job. You either overslept or you're out trying to feed your addiction. Therefore, you're missing days. You don't have a paycheck. You begin to have trouble in your relationships with family, friends, coworkers. You become untrustworthy. These are some of the issues that, no one likes to talk about. A lot of these, no one likes to talk about, especially the relationship issues. Maybe you have a partner that also uses. That could cause more problems than any of the other. You become untrustworthy, not in the fact that you would think somebody is untrustworthy, but along the facts, say, example, they have more drugs than you and they're going to get more high than you. So that's not going to fly. We can't have that. When I chose to get sober, my partner did not. I don't know where he's at. We no longer communicate. But after my treatment and becoming sober, I noticed we had no common denominator besides the drugs. That's the only thing that had us together was the drugs. Even though it kept us fighting and abusive, that was the only thing that had us together. And when I chose to put that down, there was no common denominator. There was nothing there. So he said his excuse was cost too much to get help. No, treatment is not as expensive as many would like to think. You can get help. It is no longer the cliche, and we need to stop treating it like it is a cliche of drug addiction is a bad thing. We keep treating it like that, nobody's going to get help, and the numbers of deaths will go higher. The cost of treating it for housing people, inmates, will outweigh the cost of treatment. No, we don't need that. We don't want that. Maybe if more information could be given out, more relatable information from somebody who's not just a doctor or somebody that's been to school for it, but a more relatable person could get the information out that number of 63,000, that number might happen to go down a little bit. Our national average of drug-related deaths can be lower. And just in case, there is a number where there's a National Institute hotline. It's called SAMHSA. It's SAMSHA. It's a national hotline where you can call and get reference referrals to treatment centers or areas where you can go get help for yourself or for a loved one. Or just get advice, get some clarity. Y'all have a good night.